Today, I'm going to tell you a story about what you would do if you had the power of infinite loops. The movie is Palm Springs. The story takes place in a desert. A newlywed couple is about to get married at a summer resort here. Friends and family from both sides are arriving. The charming groomsmen and bridesmaid hit it off, looking forward to some good luck after the banquet. Our male lead, Taiju, is the boyfriend of one of the bridesmaids. He woke up under his girlfriend's beautiful legs in the early morning. I know you don't like these kinds of events, so you don't have to do anything, just drink. Understood. Taiju gave an awkward and impolite smile. The wedding went smoothly. Everyone looked at the newlyweds with envy. However, bridesmaid Cha's speech before the dinner. The man awkwardly furrowed his brows while Taiju silently drank his beer, watching his girlfriend dance energetically on stage. Like him, our heroine Shufin also didn't enjoy the wedding. Shufin is the bride's sister, but on this big day, she can't feel happy at all because none of her family likes her. At this moment, Cha suddenly acts crazy and starts to mock Shufin. The more kidney dogs you eat, the more you get. But at this moment, Taiju took the microphone to defend her. His speech was sincere and elegantly worded, moving everyone present. The applause was won, and the joyful party began. Taiju moved effortlessly through the dance floor, unlike his girlfriend Cha, who was socially awkward. No matter how Taiju danced, his eyes never left one person, Shufin. Facing Taiju's enthusiastic invitation, Shufin just coldly told him to get lost. Don't you have a girlfriend? Taiju nodded deeply and said, "Come with me. I'll take you somewhere." Then Shufin saw Cha doing something in the bathroom with a strange man that needed to be censored. Shufin asked Taiju in confusion, "Why don't you stop them despite this obvious affair?" Taiju reluctantly believed me. "I've tried thousands of times. There's no way to stop her from cheating in this world." Shufin looked at Taiju sympathetically. "Do you know why my family doesn't like me?" "Because in their eyes, I've always been a silent drunkard daughter." Just then, a sheep's bleat suddenly came from the bathroom. Shufin glanced at Taiju, who seemed a bit interested. Taiju nodded in agreement. "Let's go explore the wild." He then took Shufin under the vast starry sky just as Taiju was about to join them. He was unfortunately ambushed by Fong's jungler. An arrow struck Taiju's shoulder, causing him to scream in pain.
I thought I smelled you!
Taiju started running away, but got shot in the butt again. Shufin lay there screaming, and finally, Taiju hid behind a rock and escaped. Before the old man left, he said, "Run, grandson. I will find you again." The old man walked into a glowing red cave and disappeared. Taiju breathed a sigh of relief and dragged his injured body towards the cave. Just as he was about to enter the red light, Shufin caught up. Taiju quickly stopped her, telling her not to come closer. "Don't come over." Then Taiju was sucked in by the red light. When he woke up again, Cha's beautiful legs were right in front of him. Qin Jun, another beautiful leg, no one beyond Yangguan. Yes, he was back to the morning of the wedding day. You are not mistaken. Taiju has gone through countless time loops. But this time, Shufin followed him into the cave and got trapped in the infinite loop as well. At this moment, Shufin woke up in a daze. She looked at her phone and realized she was back to the morning of the wedding. Panicked, Shufin tried to tell her family, but no one believed her and thought she was crazy. Then, Shufin saw Taiju calmly lying by the pool, sunbathing.
What did you do to me? Hey, come here! Oh my god!
At this moment, Shufin's sister noticed something was wrong and followed her out. Unfortunately, she slipped and fell, losing her front teeth. The bride was disfigured on her wedding day, leaving everyone in shock. Shufin had no choice but to seek help from Taiju. Taiju told her that once she entered that cave, she would be trapped in an endless loop with no way out. Whether asleep or dead, you will immediately return to this day. The cave entrance acts like a reset button. If you want to end this day early, you can just walk into the cave. After understanding this, Shufin walked straight into the cave. Taiju asked her, "It's only 10 o'clock and you're already done?" Without turning her head, Shufin shouted, "I do what I want." As expected, after entering the cave, Shufin woke up again in the morning. It was another speechless morning. He couldn't accept any of this and tried various ways to leave. Whether it was driving away without sleeping or committing suicide with the iron pillar, he would always wake up on this morning. After exhausting all options, she could only drown her sorrows in alcohol like Taiju. Taiju reminded her that Z must choose a quick and painless way because the pain is real. There's nothing more painful than lingering in agony before death. Shufin suddenly remembered what happened that night and asked the old man about it. Taiju trembled all over. The old man, named Lao Pu, was a relative of the groom's family. Once, during a rainy day, they had so much fun that he wanted to stay in that moment forever. So, Taiju took him into a cave. When he woke up, he was just like everyone else. Unable to accept being trapped there, Lao Pu's greatest hobby became killing Taiju out of revenge. Fortunately, he lives quite far away, so it's not easy for him to drive here. Shufin then said, "Anyway, you won't die, so what's there to be afraid of?" "Oh, the pain is real." Shufin then asked Taiju how many people he had dated through time travel. Taiju replied that most of the women here. "I've tried all the men." Shufin covered her mouth in disbelief.
The other night, I would have, but...
"What about me?" Taiju stammered, saying it was just once. "Anyway, my point is, you can also enjoy life and love like I do." Shufin shook her head, saying this isn't love. "But I can do things I usually don't dare to do." Then, during the vase, Shufin whispered to her sister, "Your fiancé slept with me." The wedding was off, but Shufin completely let herself go. Every morning, she would wake up Taiju in front of the green tea, shouting, "Wake up and have fun." Taiju, tired of the daily tea, had lost interest long ago. They secretly snuck into someone else's pool to bathe. They went to the ranch together, stole luxury cars for joyrides every day, and even stole a plane. But not all planes can be flown. No matter what happens, everything resets when they wake up. In this cyclical world, others see them as NPCs, while NPCs see these two as lunatics. They've done everything they should and shouldn't do, except for that incident with the old model. So, Taiju took Shufin to camp in the wild and started talking about philosophy. He took out a chocolate bar and said, "Look at this bar. Before it was covered in chocolate, it was dough. Before that, it was flour. This is its past. Now I eat it, and it becomes part of my stomach, eventually turning into waste. This is its future. But none of this matters because it's all meaningless. Your past and future actions don't matter." Shufin looked at him calmly and said, "But if you want to understand more deeply, you need to put in the effort to understand the process." Taiju then took a bite of the chocolate. "It's not just about the moment you eat it. Every moment of the experience, the sensation of it melting in your mouth, is what truly matters." Shufin looked at Taiju calmly. "The reason you're saying these things is because you've been stuck here alone for too long. In the vast sea of people in the real world, understanding someone's past is very important to falling in love with them." Taiju, embarrassed that his confession was exposed, quickly tried to cover it up, saying, "Humph, I didn't fall in love with you." Shufin teased with a smile. "What? Have you fallen in love?" Taiju picked up the bottle and started drinking. No, just drinking." Just as they were about to sleep in the tent, Shufin slowly crawled in. "Let's get down to business," she whispered in Taju's ear. Blushing, he agreed. That night, Shufin had the most peaceful and restful sleep. She woke up, lingering in bed, savoring the night. Then she heard a man's voice. It was the groom telling her, "You should leave. Our affair must remain a secret." These words were like a bomb in Shufin's mind, disturbing her peace all day. If she chose to stay in the loop, she would face her sister's fiancé every morning. She told Taiju, "I can't stay here." Taiju was completely confused. "Weren't we having fun yesterday?" "Yeah, it was just for fun." Now, Taiju can't laugh anymore. Last night was the only meaningful night in his few cycles. But before Taiju could ask what was going on, Lao Pu came to kill him. Taiju shouted for Shufin to run quickly. Shufin stopped the car, looking shocked.
Someone doesn't have to. We've been over this. I'm serious.
"If you don't solve it, I'll solve you." Then, Shufin ran out of the car, crying for help. "This man wants to kill me." Old Park walked up from behind and pointed at the iron pillar. "Did you ruin that young girl?" Just as he finished speaking, Shufin drove her car and hit Old Park, causing him to become paraplegic. Taiju frowned and looked at Shufin in confusion. "I just saved you. Shouldn't you be thanking me?" While they were arguing, another police officer arrived. However, Shufin didn't take the police seriously at all. Her provocations led to the officer's taser hitting Taiju. In the end, the two of them had a big argument on the street. "Shufin, the reason I entered the cave was because I care about you. If I had known I'd be trapped with a scumbag like you, I wouldn't have even looked at you. You don't deserve me." Taiju rolled his eyes and said, "I've done this countless times. As long as I'm at the right place at the right time and say those words at the wedding, you'll come out with me, no doubt." Shufin was stunned to realize she had been hit by this person so many times. Enraged, she ran towards an oncoming truck, ending her life and resetting the day. As soon as Taiju woke up, he wanted to apologize to Shufin. However, after asking everyone and searching every corner, he still couldn't find her. Heartbroken, Taiju vented his anger everywhere and sought comfort from his best friend. He still couldn't stop thinking about Shufin. He even went to find Lao Park, saying he didn't want to live anymore. Lao Park handed Taiju a bottle of wine and said, "My wife, kids, and neighbors are all watching. What are you yelling about? Do you see those twins? They're not mine. I, with my spear still sharp as a dragon, will pierce you to death." Taiju wanted to speak, but held back. "Last time, that crazy woman hit me, and I ended up in the hospital. The nurse was so scared I would fall into a coma that she kept me awake. I was in pain for a month before I died." Taiju apologized out of guilt. Old Park continued, "But when I woke up again, my young wife was cooking downstairs, and my 2 angels were playing in the garden. It was then that I realized this was my happiest time. Staying here isn't so bad, except that I'll never see the twins grow up or watch them get married." At this moment, Taiju seemed to understand something. He said, "Please give me another chance. I don't want to drive 6 more hours back." When Taiju woke up from this death, he saw Shufin sitting by his bed. Shufin told him that she had been studying quantum mechanics and discovered that detonating a bomb 3 seconds before the time loop could break the cycle. Taiju was completely stunned. Shufin continued, "I sent a sheep over to be blown up, and it never appeared again. If you want to leave with me, we can perfectly spend this day together and leave the loop by night." Taiju was hesitant, and Shufin didn't insist. He hugged Taiju and said goodbye. After leaving the iron pillar, Shufin dressed up and attended her sister's wedding. She treated everyone at the wedding with kindness. Gathering her courage, she gave a heartfelt speech, expressing her love for her sister with tearful eyes. After doing all this, Shufin strapped on a bomb, ready to end this cycle. Meanwhile, Taiju was drinking, his mind filled with thoughts of Shufin. He couldn't bear the thought of living without her. So, Taiju drove towards the cave. Just as Shufin was about to enter the cave, Taiju arrived. "Shufin, now I understand. The past and the future are the most important. Only with the passage of time do our choices have meaning. I would rather die with you. Living in a world without you is unimaginable." Shufin was deeply moved and made it clear that she could live without you. After hearing this, Taiju was as flustered as a fool confessing for the first time. But Shufin continued, "However, if you're around, my life might not be so boring." Taiju finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then, the two walked hand in hand into the cave and passionately kissed before exploding on the spot. In the end, the two successfully escaped the time loop and lived a peaceful and happy life. It's such a pity. This amazing tech for picking up girls and guys, if our editor got involved, it would definitely cause a big trouble.